Hey guys, I'm Ayush Rana, a first year medical student at KMC Manipal, and today I'll be reviewing the M1 iPad Pro. I've been using this iPad for about 4 months now. I bought it in August and it's December now. For the time that I used it, and I used it for note making and digital art mostly. I took it to class, took notes in the class. Also, I made notes for online classes. So that's what the most usage of this iPad I did was. In the time that I had this for, I noticed few cons and most of the pros that I'll be telling you now. Let's begin with the pros. The first point I'll try to make is longevity of this product. I've been using this for only 4 months, but I can assure myself that this product will not fade away in any kind for the next 5 years. Because the specifications that the M1 iPad Pro has, just like I said, it has M1 processor. That is the top-notch processor in any iPad till now, until next year when they put M1 Max in this. So boom. Also, with the power of M1 and the software optimization of iPadOS, sorry, it's changed, iPadOS, basically future-proof. I mean, it has Wi-Fi 6 and the software support will be for ages. So that is the main point, longevity. The next point I'll try to emphasize on is the display. The display of this device is an 11-inch LED panel, a 11-inch LCD panel. What is it? Liquid Retina display. 11-inch liquid retina display. That's basically LCD display. This display, it's a pretty decent display for an iPad, and it's pretty compact to carry around in the campus, and also as compared to my MacBook, it's pretty lightweight, and I would prefer taking my iPad to my classes every day rather than this heavy laptop. Also, the most major thing about the display is that it is ProMotion display. ProMotion is basically Apple saying that it's a 120Hz display. That is a pretty big deal because it changes the experience of the device. I have personally used iPad Air and iPad 7th Gen. So in both of the devices, they both are 60Hz display. When I come back to the iPad Pro, I feel that is a drastic change, shifting to 120Hz. The smoothness, you cannot see it on the camera if I try to show it, but the smoothness to the eye that I feel when I just scroll around pages and just scroll around text, that's so satisfying. This 120Hz display also helps in reducing the latency response of the Apple Pencil. So the writing experience while you write on an iPad Pro is just magical. It's just like writing on a paper, just without the sound. And if you put a matte finish on the screen guard, then it's just magic. So it's basically a P3 color gamut display and also has a peak brightness of 600 nits. That's a basic pretty standard shit. This was about the display, and the next thing I'll talk about is the major thing that makes this iPad functional for me is the Apple Pencil. Without the Apple Pencil, this device is just a content consumption device. But with the Apple Pencil, you can do all the creative stuff that you want to do. I make notes on this iPad and they're beautiful. I mean, like, for me as a student, when I take a paper and pen, the notes that I make are I just make them and I don't use them. They're just lying in a corner somewhere. But when I made notes on these, I actually revised from that note and I felt like, so beautiful, I made these notes. Yeah, that's the feeling that you get after making notes on an iPad Pro. Also, apart from note making, the one good thing about Apple Pencil is we can also do digital art. So I'm not a pro at digital art. I started digital art and I made a whole damn picture of Doctor Strange. Yeah, for Apple Pencil Generation 2, it's basically attaches to the side of the iPad and charges seamlessly instead of the Generation 1, which is just weird. The low latency and plus the 120Hz display are the best two things in this iPad Pro that just makes this iPad stand from all others for me. Other features of this iPad are it has 4 speakers on all the corners and they're pretty loud. It fills the room pretty well. Some random perks of the iPad are the feature sidecar helps the iPad to be a secondary display to any other Mac, and it just appears on the display setting in the Mac OS, and you can just seamlessly connect to the iPad wirelessly and through the wire. Another feature of the iPad is we can connect the mouse and also keyboard to make it a rather functional laptop replacement, but that will never happen, not unless the full power of M1 can be used by iPad OS. The camera of iPad Pro is also a great camera, but why will you ever use a camera of an iPad? It will look weird. But here are some clips from this iPad's camera. Also, it has the feature of center stage in the front camera, which basically tracks your face and keeps you in the center while having a FaceTime call or a Teams call. If I speak about the battery life is decent. I mean, like, if I don't use the iPad for note making or anything like digital creation, so it can last 3 days on standby and a whole day and a half while making notes and doing digital art and watching some YouTube. So that's a pretty good battery life. The only con of this iPad Pro is its cost. But if you are a student or a digital artist, I personally am a student and I'll know how I handle the iPad and how a digital artist would handle. I know one of my friend is a digital artist. The education pricing of this iPad Pro is around 78,000 including the Apple Pencil. That is a lot of money. You can buy a MacBook Air in 82,000 rupees. So that's comparable to a laptop, a proper functioning laptop which can utilize the M1 processor. But iPad OS is not capable of utilizing the power of M1. So what are you paying for this huge amount of money? Is the experience of 120Hz and the emotion related to the notes that you make. It's just the feeling that you get once you scroll. Also, I would not recommend buying this iPad Pro just like if you have a student education ID and you're getting the discount. No, it's not worth it. You should wait for the back to college offer, back to school sales that comes around November, December. They give you free AirPods. That is a much better deal than just buying it for 78,000. In 78,000 you can also get AirPods for free. So technically it's more value. Other than that, this is a very expensive device and I totally love it. That was it for this video, and if you like my content, don't subscribe. I mean, if you're subscribed, thankful. I'm very thankful if you're subscribed. Peace out.